Anthropic just quietly dropped one of the most significant updates to Claude Code since launch, and almost nobody is talking about it yet. Claude Skills 2.0 didn't get a big announcement, no keynote, just a blog post. But what it actually changes, the ability to test, benchmark, and automatically refine the skills you build. That's the thing that turns skills from a nice idea into a real operating layer for your business. Most people using Claude or Claude Skills right now are doing one thing: building the skill, running it a couple of times, assuming it works, and moving on. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what changed in the 2.0 update, the two types of skills you need to understand, the new eval system, and why this matters. And then we're going to put it to work by building a real business skill live, a proposal generator that takes an email thread or a meeting transcript and outputs a client ready proposal. Let's get into it. Before we build anything, let me cover what Anthropic actually changed, because the upgrade isn't cosmetic. Skills have always essentially been a skill.md file, a plain English instruction set that tells Claude how to execute a specific workflow. Think of it like a persistent SOP. When you trigger the skill, Claude reads it and follows the process every time. What was missing was any way to verify that process actually works. You built it, you hoped it worked, and you found out it didn't when a real output came back wrong. Skills 2.0 fixes that with three things. First, evals. You can now write tests that check Claude does what you expect for a given input. The skill creator writes these for you. It runs them, scores the outputs, and tells you where the skill holds up and where it breaks down. Second, benchmarking. A standardized assessment you can run after model updates or after you edit the skill. Tracks pass rate, time, and token usage so you have data across versions and not just vibes. And third, trigger tuning. As you build more skills, Claude needs to know which one to fire when. Trigger tuning analyzes your skills description, tests it against sample prompts, and edits it so it fires when it should and doesn't when it shouldn't. Now, let me explain the foundation before we build. Anthropic draws a distinction between two types of skills, and it matters for how you build them. Capability uplift skills help Claude do something the base model either can't do or can't do consistently. The front end design skill is a good example. It encodes techniques and patterns that produce significantly better output than prompting alone. These skills may become less necessary over time as models improve. If Opus 5 gets better at front-end design by default, you might just retire the skill. Encoded preference skills are different. Claude could already do each individual piece. It can write, it can read emails, it can structure documents, but the skill sequences those pieces according to your specific process, in your voice, with your logic. These are more durable because future models won't be trained on your workflow. The proposal skill we're building today is an encoded preference skill. I'm not teaching Claude to write, it already knows how to write. I'm encoding how I write proposals, what sections I always include, how I handle budget conversations, what tone sounds like me. That's what gets locked in. So here's the structure for today. 3 steps. I call it the BTE loop. Build. Use the skill creator to write the proposal skill in plain language. Test. Run the eval system, catch failures, and let it iterate. And finally, execute. Drop in a real input and watch the output. Quick pause. If you're finding this useful, I put out a short insight every week on applying AI systematically in your business. The link is in the description. And if you want to work through your specific implementation with me directly, there's a link there too. Okay, let's build. Alright, we understand what skills to change and why it matters. Now let's use it to build something that actually moves the needle for a service business. Proposals. The problem that every agency owner and consultant I talk to has. You use Claude to help write them. It gives you something decent, you spend 30 minutes making it sound like you, and then the next line comes in and you start from scratch. Because Claude has no memory of your process, your pricing structure, your positioning, or your tone, you're re-explaining your business every single time. We're going to fix that permanently right now. So let's go ahead and fire up Claude in a new folder, and we're going to install the skill creator by typing in /plugin, hit enter, and in the discover tab, and search for skill creator. Hit space to select and hit enter to install. I'm going to install for the user scope, so let's hit enter. And we need to type in reload dash plugins to activate any pending changes. Let's do that. Awesome. Now this plugin is Anthropic's own best practices on skill building encoded as a skill. Everything we're about to do, evals, the benchmarking, the trigger tuning, it's all in here. Just to be safe, I'm going to exit out of Claude Code and restart it. Now I'm going to type in slash skill creator, hit tab, and explain what I want it to do. I've gone ahead and explained my process. Let's hit enter. You'll see that it's asking me some follow-up questions. Where should the proposal be saved? A why-us section, an investment section, input format, and do you want test cases? Let's go ahead and answer everything. I'm just going to save it as a markdown file for now. I've gone ahead and answered all of the questions. Let's hit enter. And you'll see that it is generating the skill.md file. And it's given us 3 test cases that it's going to try. Now this is where Skills 2.0 actually earns its version number. Before this update, you'd build a skill, run it once or twice, it looked fine, and you'd assume it worked. That's not verification, that's confirmation bias. You were looking for it to work, so you saw it working. The eval system changes the question from does this look right to does this pass. The skill creator actually wrote test prompts for us, sample inputs representing the range of things we'd actually feed the skill. And then it's going to run all of them. I'm going to go ahead and confirm. So it's going to spawn 6 runs, 3 with the skill and 3 without the skill, and then run a comparison to see if the skill actually generates better outputs or not. Now for the final part of the evaluation, it's going to read all the output files from the agents and actually grade them. Once the evaluations are done, it launches an eval viewer where you can see the prompt and the output. Under each output, we can actually go ahead and provide our feedback. Then we can go through each evaluation. This one was without the skill. This one was with the skill, so we can add more feedback here. And once we're done providing all of our feedback, we can actually just go ahead and hit submit all reviews. It's going to say, your feedback has been saved. Go back to your Claude Code session and tell Claude you're done reviewing. Let's go back and tell Claude I have completed the eval. Now since I haven't provided any feedback, I can just tell Claude that skill outputs looked good. So we have 100% pass rate across all 3 test cases. Let me kill the viewer and wrap up. And we finally have some biggest wins over the baseline, where the skill always includes the why-us section, always flags missing budget, consistently avoids filler language, and always produces line item pricing. Now we can also optimize the skill description for better triggering, so Claude knows exactly when to fire the skill. But for now, let's go ahead and test this with an actual client call that I had. The skill is ready. Paste an email thread or meeting transcript and ask for a proposal. Here is my transcript all pasted in. And I'm just going to ask it to anonymize the names. Alright, proposal saved. And here's our proposal with the executive summary of the problem, a recommended approach, why us, deliverables, investment, and next steps. Now what used to take 45 minutes to write from scratch is now done in less than 2 minutes. Every proposal this produces from now on will follow the exact same structure, the same tone, and the same logic, whether that's for me or for anyone on my team, and whether I run it today or 6 months from now. So that's not just a productivity hack, that is a system. So let's bring this back together. Skills 2.0 matters because it closes the gap between building a skill and knowing a skill works. The 2 types of skills tell you how durable what you're building is. Capability uplift skills may get retired as models improve. Encoded preference skills compound forever because they're specific to your process. We also talked about the BTE loop, building, testing, and executing. By building this way, your Claude stops being something you prompt and starts being something that runs. And the proposal skill is just the start. This same loop can work for client reports, lead qualification, onboarding documents, delivery summaries. Any repeatable workflow in your business can be encoded the exact same way. If you enjoyed this tutorial, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like and remember to subscribe to the channel for more AI and automation content.